BRUCAST is back, baby.
This BRUCAST episode is brought to you by the BRUCAST Store. Explore a store filled with awesome goodies from hoodies to t-shirts to mugs. We've got you covered. Stay in style with BRUCAST. Embrace the shock, set the trend. Visit now brew-cast.com/store. Link below.
Back with the fire, can't you see the flames? From Deutschland steps comes the BRUCAST name. Voices like thunder breaking all the chains. Unleash the fury like a runaway train.
Alright, hi everyone, welcome back to another BRUCAST episode. If it's your first time watching the show, make sure to like and subscribe. If you're listening to Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please ring the show 5 stars. This will ensure that the podcast recommends to even more people and allow me to keep doing what I love. BRUCAST also on Instagram, X, and TikTok, where I upload shorts with the highlights of the show. So follow now, BRUCAST on Instagram, X, and TikTok. Links in the description below.
Here we thrive, we survive!
Hey there, BRUCAST fans. Welcome back to another BRUCAST episode. You know what's up? I know what's up. It's time to talk about this month's giveaway. Yes. You guys keep liking. You guys keep commenting. You guys keep subscribing. We're gonna keep doing the giveaways. Again, all you have to do is like, comment, and subscribe. We're gonna announce the winner of this month's giveaway at the end of this month. Stay tuned, and the winner gonna win something from the BRUCAST store. Yes, it's a surprise. It's a mystery giveaway. We're gonna announce the winner at the end of this month. It's a worldwide giveaway, so no matter where you are in the world, we're gonna make sure to deliver this beautiful present to you. All right, so today we have a very special guest. His name is Sandy Cohan. All right, how are you doing, Sandy?
Been good. How about yourself?
I'm great, man. Thank you so much for being here. So I'm excited. I'm excited to get to know you and get to know what you do.
Yeah, coming to you from Florida in the United States. So weather's probably a little warmer here than where you are, but yeah, I'm excited to chat with you.
All right, so Sandy, I know that you know hockey, right? We talk about hockey for a while. So are you like a hockey coach? You help professionals? I cannot, but you also help professionals though, or
Yeah.
in
So
business. Yeah, go ahead.
yep. So I am a mindset coach.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of people would say mental performance, mental toughness. But I'm in the mindset space. So I work with professional athletes, business leaders, CEOs, executives. And what I specialize in is the thought process, belief, attitude, focus, emotional control, confidence, really kind of what makes people perform, right? Because it's not just the skills of a certain sport. There's so much kind of inside the mind that is relevant. So that's what I specialize in. Most of the work that I do, I was a hockey player, so I work with a lot of professional hockey players um, all over. And maybe about 10 years ago, I really kind of started expanding. Business leaders, CEOs, executives, anybody that really kind of wanted to master the concept of focus, belief, confidence. So that's what I specialize in.
So that's very interesting because I heard today that it always starts with the body. But I wanna get your take on it because from what I understand, your take is it starts with the mind, or
Absolutely.
it's all
Yep.
of the
Yeah.
okay.
So think of it this way, that if you think about like a big building, right? I don't care whatever the activity is. It could be running a podcast, it could be a sport, it could be anything. And if that building has 10 levels, right? 10 floors.
Hmm.
And the first floor, like for you, could be um, the graphics of your show. The second one is your microphone, all those important things that make up, kind of hosting a good podcast. Well, the foundation of that building is what happens in here. How you think, how you focus. Um, are you confident? Are you apprehensive? Can you control your emotions? So the mindset piece is really like 90% of everything. That is where it starts. Um, you could pick your activity, pick your sport, certainly pick your profession, but the mindset piece, the mentality, that is the most important. Because at some point, right, everybody, if you think about like the highest of high athletes, what separates them physically is very, very small. Like everybody is amazing. So what's the difference? Why do some thrive and why do others not thrive? It's very rarely the physical, it's almost always the mental.
Wow. That's so interesting because I love trash TV, right? And there's one show I forgot how it's called now. There's this doctor who's always trying to help those obese patients, right? They cannot stop eating. They're
Yep, yep.
overeating to death. And and I just watched this thing. I was like, what's wrong with them? What's like? I cannot stop wondering. It's probably something up here, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's a whole other,
Oh,
when you get start dealing with disorders, but it's the power of the mind, right? So it's this concept of what drives the decisions, right? Why can some people walk into a room where they don't know anybody and feel comfortable, and other people are like deathly afraid? How can you sit in that chair and feel confident in what you're doing, have a clear vision, and others would be like deathly afraid? They wouldn't even be able to get a word out. The difference is up here. That's the foundation for everything. So that's really kind of what I specialize in. But it bleeds into all aspects. But I like trash TV too, though. So don't get me wrong, I like it too.
okay, that's very cool, man. So we know, like, let's say we now identified. I don't want to say the problem, but let's call it the solution. The solution is in the mind. How
Always, always.
how would you go about that? Like, how would you help someone? Like,
So a lot of it almost seems, I'm not going to say obvious, but it's a lot of kind of stripping things back to like its basic level, right? So in anything, normally the place I start, it just happens to be with a lot of very talented athletes. I'm trying to understand for them, what is success? Like what does success even mean? Like to play well. I help me understand where you even start, right? Because if there isn't a definition, and again, if it's similar to like what you're doing, if you aren't able to define what a good show, a good episode, like you had a vision for all this. Imagine if you didn't have a vision and you were just like this random show, this, just kind of winging it. You might make progress, but that's not sustainable. So for so many people, it's what's the dream, right? We
hmm,
got to have a destination. Um, and then we really kind of start to stack up the tools with how do we get ready? Um, what should we think? Not what we shouldn't think. Most people think, I was guilty of this also, that let's say you um don't want to think about something, right? Like let's say, I don't know, if you get nervous about something, maybe some people are scared of heights or whatever. They tell themselves like, don't be nervous, don't be nervous, don't think about this, don't think about that. Like the more that you say don't think about it, really what you're doing is forcing your brain to think about it, right? So it's like if I said to you, don't think about an elephant right now, don't think about an elephant.
I'm thinking
I
about an
know
elephant. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. So a lot of it is retraining, right? So many of us spend time thinking, okay, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. Like for you, maybe like don't stutter, don't look up, don't do this. Well, all the brain really wants is just tell the brain what you want. You don't have to tell it what you don't want. Just tell it what you want. So it's a lot of helping people understand that. And you'd be surprised. I mean, why would anybody know that unless taught or shown, right?
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, of course. I read this book a long, long time ago. It's called The Secret. I'm not sure if have you heard about it?
Yep.
Yeah, and
Yep.
I don't remember much about it, but I do remember this part where they say, let's say you want something. You need to always say the thing that you want, not the opposite of it. What I mean by that, uh,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like I wanna get fit. You need to say I wanna get fit. I gonna have this dream body. You do not say I need to stop being fat. You know what I mean? It's like
That,
it's more.
yes. That's exactly that's exactly what I was saying. So
Yeah.
do you ever play a sport? Are you a sports guy or no?
Oh man, I go to the gym. That's about it.
Okay. All right. Um, well, any activity like besides doing this and like what do you like to do? Give me something that you like to do.
I do play the guitar. I develop games. Let's see what I do.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect on the guitar, okay? So let's just imagine that you're trying to play like a riff or something, and I don't know, your fingers are getting stuck or you just can't do it, and in your brain you're getting ready, you got your guitar in your hand, you're getting ready to start playing, and you're thinking, okay, when we get to that point in the song, like don't do this, don't do that with your pinky, don't do this, don't do that. Like the brain doesn't work like that. The brain wants to know, okay, do this, because the more you are focused on like the don't do. So what you were saying also is, even if it's working out or this is what I do want, most people spend so much time, I did it too, of trying to almost convince themselves or pull themselves out of a hole that they created, when the brain just says, you know what? We don't even need that. Let's just focus on what you do want.
Oh man, it's a small shift, but makes the whole difference in the world. I would say.
Yeah.
Is there a name for
What what
this?
what type of what type of music do you play?
Oh man, I do love country. Uh,
Do you really?
yeah, I do.
Yeah, me too. I love country.
Oh man, we can spend 2 hours now talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's talk about it later. Um,
All right.
is there a name for this technique that we're talking about?
Some people call it, so what you were talking about, some people call that like manifesting. Some people call it visualizing. I even kind of strip it back, just more basic. It doesn't need to be overly complicated, but you basically had kind of the baseline of it, that it's not just that your brain wants positivity, it wants direction, and it wants purpose. So if you are able to feed, the animal, give it what it wants, let it thrive, all of a sudden it's like, wow, where did all this great stuff come from, right? So many people are, I think, trained to, let me see if you understand this. Do you understand the phrase measure gains, not gaps? Do you understand what that means?
Measure gains, not gaps. Yes, you're focused on the positive aspect of progress. Yeah.
Right, right. So it's like, imagine you and I are hiking up a mountain.
Mm.
It's 2 miles up, and we get halfway up, we're at a mile, and we're sitting down eating something, grabbing some water, whatever. And I'm looking down, going, God, so great. Look how far we've come. But if you're looking up, going, oh, look how far we still have to go. Like we're both in the exact same place, but that's a totally different mindset, right? So that's what I mean by measured gains, not gaps. We as humans, sometimes we like to nitpick on you know, what the reasons why we think it's not, when more times than not, the glass is much more full than it is empty.
Oh yeah, for sure. I
That
I
makes sense? It makes sense?
It does make sense,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And I love it. I consider myself a very positive and optimistic person. I remember I went to this carnival with an ex-girlfriend of mine, and we were playing those crane games, right? And I was
I know the one you're talking about. I know the one you're talking about.
I was having a blast. It was like our first try, our second try, and we missed both of them, and it was pumped. It was like we have plenty of money. We can try here the whole night. We're gonna get something, and that was my attitude. And I remember after two crane games, it's a scam, of course. Um,
Yep.
but after two tries, my ex was like, yeah, that's it's a lost cause. We need to give up. There's no point in life. I was like, what are you talking about? Stop with
Yep.
that, because I believe it's a little bit contagious when you start complaining and
Absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah.
Yep.
I,
Nobody likes that. Honestly, like those people, that mentality. I don't say this to, like, it's not an insult, right? It's like winners focus on winning. Like losers focus on winners.
mm,
It's like the positive of moving forward, I think is very relevant. But yeah, I think it's about perspective. It's glass half full, glass half empty. You know,
yeah. Sandy, how did you got interested on this whole mind part of sports and how to say?
so
Uh,
I was, yeah.
yeah,
So
go
I
ahead.
was I was a hockey player. Played a bunch actually over in Europe. Once my career was over, I was a professional skills coach. So I would work with professional players on the ice, um, helping them develop skills. And what I started to notice, even at the really, really high level, I'm older than you, so this wasn't relevant when I was younger. Um, that you get a whole bunch of, like, 15, 16, 17-year-old, like, world class hockey players. They're all talented, all talented. They're all fast, they're all strong, they're all smart, they're all big, they got great hands, great skills. But very rarely was it like the biggest, fastest, strongest that was able to continue to thrive. That wasn't it. The person who did thrive was the person who was the grittiest, whose
Mm,
mentality was the best. So I wanted to get more of an understanding what makes that difference, because at the elite level, everybody is elite in terms of their skills. But why do some who even don't have as much skills, why do they seem to continue to maximize their potential while others don't? And it's the mindset. It comes down to focus and grit. Do you know what that word means? Grit?
yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah,
perseverance, right?
there you
Kind,
go. Yep.
yeah, yeah.
Yep. Yep. The willingness to do hard things, right? Fall down 7 times, get up 8 times. Like that's grit.
Oh man, you just remind me of this quote from the Rock movie. Remember? You know what I'm talking about? It doesn't matter how many times you get hit.
Yeah, yeah.
Something like, I forgot the whole quote, but it's like you just keep pushing, just keep going, no matter what, because there's gonna be setbacks, no matter what you do, right? I think someone told me once that success and progress is like is more most people think it's a straight line. You just keep going up.
Oh,
No, it's like one step forward, two back, and then three forward, maybe two back, and slowly you get there. But you need to have the grit, right? And yeah, have the rock mentality.
yep.
Yeah.
And it sounds like it's not corny or cheesy, but those are the lessons that I think younger people need to learn, that everybody falls, right? Okay, everybody falls. There's no shame in the fall, and failure isn't final. It's just a part of the process. That's a part of learning, right? So if the goal is get out of your comfort zone, get into the growth zone, do hard things, that's where the magic happens, right? And I know you can appreciate this. Like, whatever it took to get you sitting in that chair, all of the stuff, it was like this, up, up. It's just, they're great days, they're challenging days, they're amazing days, they're you know what days. But it's like there's only two options, right? We're either going to turn left or you're going to turn right. You're either going to pack it in and go away, or you're going to get up and fight harder. And
Yeah.
those are really the two choices. So I was always fascinated by that.
Hmm. Isn't there like a study, if I'm not mistaken, you might have seen it. Apparently, there's a connection between doing hard things physically with mental strength, like waking up early and getting a cold shower and
Yeah.
then going like pumping some iron and like those things. There's some type of connection to your brain. Like I
Yep.
I, I don't know what it is, but it works.
You know what? The biggest connection, if when you pull all successful, I think, people together, achievers, and I'm not talking about money. That's not what I'm saying. People who achieve, people who are difference makers, maximize their potential. They they have things in common, right? Like you can pull out some things um, that you see, and part of what you're saying, you know, they're not driven by motivation. They're driven by discipline. They have habits, right? Like, stuff doesn't fade. Like, no one needs to tell them what their standard should be. That's just the way that they do things. What's really really fascinating is like all of the pro athlete, whoever I work with, I can tell immediately. It could be a big organization, it could be one or two people. Um, but here are some things that are always true. You tell me if you agree. In good environments, right? Healthy environments. The first thing is that problem reporters are always problems. Problem, right?
Okay. Uh, sh-
Problems, problem solvers, those are achievers. True or false?
well, no, sorry, I need to think this one for a second. Problem reporters always the problem causers, and problem solvers are the achievers. I would agree, not 100% of the time, but mostly. Yes, almost all the
Okay.
time. I think
In every, like,
there are
yeah, go
exceptions
on.
though.
Yep. In most high performing environments, the people who are focused on telling others about problems or reasons why we can't, those people are typically the weaker members of the herd.
Because they're focused on the problems. That's where their minds
That's
are
right.
at. Okay, yeah, yeah.
Yes. Yes. Another one is that tough times don't last, tough people last.
Oh
Tough
wow,
times don't last, tough people last.
hell yeah, 100%.
Right? Yep. Um, Another one is that standards and expectations are not the same thing. So, like, best of the best, they deal in standards. They don't deal in expectations,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
Expectations is like if you go to a new job and the expectation of your boss is different, then you're gonna what perform less? Doesn't make sense. You need to set the standard.
Yep.
I'm interrupting you. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. But so I think you'll like the next two is here. So and this is kind of where the it starts to shift. That thoughts thoughts aren't facts. Thoughts are just thoughts. So when we think something, it doesn't mean that it's going to happen. It doesn't mean that it did happen. It doesn't mean that it might happen. Thoughts are just thoughts. So part of, like, a mindset shift for anything, any level of achievement, is understanding that just because you think it, it doesn't mean that it's true. It's just a thought.
This one is a little bit puzzling. How people like I agree. So I agree with you 100%. Thoughts are just thoughts. Like you have intrusive thoughts all the time. You know, you pass a. I hear like, let's say you pass, like there's a mom and there's a baby, and you imagine like she's dropping the baby. It does not mean that you want the baby to be harmed, but your mind is going all the places all the time. What it does, it does not mean they're true. You know, thoughts are thoughts.
They're, they're,
I agree with you 100%.
thought, thoughts are just thoughts, and I think the one that is probably the most um, under or misunderstood is that confidence is a choice. Confidence is not a feeling. Confidence is a choice. Confidence isn't just something that you feel. You can choose to be confident. You can choose um, to have belief. It's not just something that you hope happens.
Oh man, I would ask you. I would like to ask if you could elaborate on that one.
Yep. So here are the two words I want you to consider. Is these words get confused a lot. Is the word belief and the word confidence. They are related, but they're not the same thing. Okay. So if you think about a tree outside, what you see above ground, the tree, that's confidence. What you don't see below ground, the roots, that's belief. So in that example of the tree, no roots, no tree. No belief, no confidence. So the easiest way to be confident is you tap into belief. I'll prove it to you. So you probably have, of all the episodes you've done, you probably have like one show maybe where it was like it was just perfect, or like you just loved it. Everything you did, it was like you got lots of views, you got lots of good comments on it. Like you were just feeling it. You don't have to tell me what it is, but do you have a thought like that?
Yeah.
And I bet you remember maybe who the guest was. You probably remember some specifics about it. Maybe you remember what shirt you were wearing or what day of the week it was, whatever it was. But when you think about that show, is that a good feeling or a bad feeling?
It's very good.
And it kind of like you feel it in your belly, right? Like it gets you going a little bit, like get you kind of excited, get you fired up.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you know what that feeling is called?
How?
That feeling is called confidence.
All right.
But the way we got there, and that took 10 seconds, we just tapped into a memory of when you have done it before. There's proof that built up your belief. I believe I can because I've done. And you spending 5 seconds thinking about that inner oomph that you felt, that energy, that, man, I'm going to crush it, that feeling is confidence.
I'm pumped now. I'm fired up. Yeah, it works.
Yeah, yeah. So those two things are so where a lot of anybody, it could be a public speaker, it could be an athlete, whatever, they're always like, I want to feel confident, I want to work on confidence. My approach, and people like me, the way to do it is that you go through belief. Because imagine if I could take an athlete and I could say, okay, you can come up with a highlight reel in your brain, 3 or 4 maybe goals or something that you've done before. They remember where they were, the uniform, they remember people going nuts in the stands and everybody, high-fiving them or her. And that feeling that they get, it's a good feeling. Like they get fired up. Well, that feeling is called confidence. So that's what I mean by confidence is a choice. It's not a feeling. It's something that can be built, grown, developed.
Wow. It's the first time I hear that. It's wonderful. I watched this TikTok the other day with the vocalist, the main singer from Metallica, the rock band, and the guy. I mean, they're not a new band, right? They've been around from for a while now, and he was like sitting outside of the stage before a show, having stage fright, having anxiety. It's like, bro, I still have it. Like, he's doing that for so many years, and so from time to time he still lacks confidence. That's how I saw the whole thing, and it does that just makes me think how human that is, right? It can affect us no matter what. So would you say that in his case there's something wrong with his beliefs?
So I know the documentary that you're talking about, and first of all,
Yeah.
it's funny. It's funny that right, that I'm not gonna ask you how old you are, but yes, Metallica's been around for a while. Great band, great band. Um, but like performance anxiety is a real thing. Nerves are okay. What has been said about this particular case that you're talking about, that we see a lot of times in athletes, is this: that sometimes it's very, very important that we really dig into what is it that we are really feeling, right? Because the body handles, if you're really, really nervous or you're really, really excited, physically, you have all of the same symptoms. Your legs get heavy, your palms sweat, your stomach's uncomfortable, right? It's like Christmas Eve for so many people, that like excitement feeling is like the same sort of feeling a lot of people might get before they do something, but it's the brain that says one of them is excitement, the other one is nerves, so that must be bad. That anxiety or those thoughts, first off, it's totally normal. Nerves aren't bad. Another way to say nerves are, it's mis it's mismanaged energy,
Hmm.
or it's an emotion that, of course you're going to have an emotion because the event hasn't happened yet. But we don't have to necessarily take it 5 steps down the road and say, well, that emotion is negative. What if it's just excitement? What if it's just anticipation? We just label it, like we're so quick to say that's nerves, and all of a sudden it starts to snowball. Oh my god, I'm nervous, I'm nervous, I'm nervous. I would get anxiety too before I would go out and play music for 80,000 people. But performance anxiety and nerves aren't necessarily the same thing.
Oh, okay. Performance and anxiety and nerves are not necessarily the same thing. Um, is there a way of getting? I don't want to say get rid of them because it sounds wrong,
Yep.
but redirecting those. You mentioned the word
Re-
energy there. Redirect this energy somewhere else.
reframe.
Hmm.
Yep, that's a good word. Reframe, redirect. Again, I'm not diagnosing him with anything. There are some people that truly have fears, that are just life altering. For most performers, though, in this kind of case, who have things like this, yes, there are like breathing exercises, there are mantras, there are thought patterns, there's visualization, there's a whole bunch of things that can kind of get the brain away from there and move it somewhere else. And that really is kind of the thought, that it's we're almost not really trying to push out what we don't want. We're trying to almost like fully embrace what we do want. So there are lots of things, lots of people, some of the best athletes that I know, very, very relevant people. One of them has significant performance anxiety, and this is a household name. Like, people know who this person is. they would never know that. But they're, like you said, they're humans. They're walking out and there's 30,000 people screaming at them. Like, yeah, it's pretty normal. If you didn't have a reaction, I think it would be abnormal.
I think that's psychopaths, right? They have no. I don't know. I don't
That's
know.
right.
I don't know. Actually, I'm not gonna say
Yeah.
it. But like what? Going back to the exercises, though. Did you say visualization? Was that one of them?
Visualization is one. Yep. Yep.
My question would be, how can you use your own brain to calm your own brain? How is that possible?
So that actually is a really, really good question. So if you think, do you know who Conor McGregor is? Conor McGregor?
The boxer, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, MMA. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Oh, the MMA. Yeah,
So
sorry.
yeah, 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 yep. Um, so like when he first came onto the scene, right? It was a lot of hype. Um, and he had like a really famous kind of quote. He won his first match like really, really quickly. And Joe, whoever was interviewing him was like, like, God, is this kind of what you thought? You walked out of the tunnel and first time and like, weren't you nervous? And he said, that wasn't my first time. I walked out into the arena. Like I've done it 10,000 times in my mind. And the other way to say that is your brain does not know the difference between you visualizing walking out 10,000 times and you actually walking out for the first time. The brain doesn't know the difference. So, visualizing, putting yourself, there's many, many forms of it, but the easiest one, putting yourself in the situation, tapping into the senses, what do you hear? What do you feel? What do you see? Um, your brain doesn't know that that is not real. You can make it be just like it's happening.
Wow.
So the concept of visualization is really, really powerful. There's a lot of forms of it, but you know, visualizing, getting yourself into the thing. How does it feel? What am I going to see? I want to watch myself being successful. And I mean, there's a lot more parts to it, but the overriding majority information about it is your brain doesn't know the difference.
I would assume that's fascinating, by the way. I would assume that the placebo effect from medicines works partially because of that, right? I'm just guessing here.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Back to what you were saying also that it's look, you can take sports out of it, but I mean, I can tell you seem like a pretty positive guy in that example you were talking about, like at the carnival. Like, it's I don't think it, it's not random that positive people typically achieve success. It's they're gritty, they're stick to itiveness. It's glass half full. Like those people, it's not by happenstance that a lot of them, you know, become achievers because yeah, it's all relative. It's is the glass half empty? Is it half full? Well, and some of those people say it. I don't know if it's either. What if it's just refillable? There's a third one.
Yeah,
So thoughts are a big deal.
yeah. Well,
Perspective, big deal.
well, thank you, Sandy, for the nice words. Um, but I would say like I wasn't always like that, right? I for the longest time I did not had a podcast. I did not know how to communicate with people. I was afraid of it. There was a turning point though. I would like to share. Um, in my previous job, it was a really well known company. I was achieving a lot professionally. I need to help people. I want to present what I've done. I had really good contacts at with my university at the time. I was like, that's a great opportunity. I'm gonna propose a talk. I'm gonna go there and propose. I propose to them if you can give a talk to the previous students. I'm sure it's gonna help them. I would love to have had a talk like that when I was a student there. And turns out they said yes. I was like, fuck, now I need you to do the talk. And I was shaking. I didn't know how to do it. I was like really nervous about it. I really want to do it. And that's when I got in contact with another employee at my company at the time, was ex-journalist. He was an ex-TV presenter. And she was like, Bruno, like, no worries. I got you. I'm going to help you. Man, it was life changing. Like, oh my god, think her name is Steffi. If you're learning, you're amazing, Steffi. And
Steffi. So,
she's,
but you had to be in a place in that. I want to hear the rest of it. You had to be in a place where you were even like you could start to see it. That all of a sudden it was like the concept opened, and your what if it will work out, what if it will help people became stronger than the what if I don't make it, what if it fails, what if I look stupid? All those, either one of them could have been the case, like because it hasn't happened yet. But you decided to go into, even though it was scary, fear doesn't mean stop, fear means go. That you got to a place where you said, I'm going to focus on the what if it does. Is it going to be scary? Yeah. Is it going to be uncomfortable? Yeah. But my vision for the what if, being open to it, probably led you to even finding Steffi. Like if you weren't even thinking about that, you wouldn't have even started peeling back the layers and look at yourself now. So I would say that it was a mindset for you, that your what if became more powerful to the good than to the bad.
absolutely 100%
Is
for
that is
sure.
that right? Is that right or not?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's that's
What
is
was
the,
the first? What was the first talk? What was the first talk?
I mean the presentation that I gave.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man, it's been a while now. It was about games, right? Because I'm in the gaming industry. It was about, I think, how to help. Yeah, it was exactly about that. How to help people who got graduated in game design get their first job, and I was so happy to be helping those guys. And this was my driving force at the time, because I know how helpful that would have been for me. And yeah, but you're right, man. 100% the what ifs, I was like, what if it works out? What if everything goes well, like I planned? Like, you start seeing the paths. Like, it was a life changing moments. Like, I learned how to talk public. So I just gonna
Yeah,
give her tip. Like the tip she gave me, and we had some practice doing it. Was like, you need to talk like you're talking about the weather, or like small talk, like any type of big talk. It's like, be yourself. As long as you're being yourself, being authentic,
that's right.
it's gonna work out. Like, maybe not TED Talks, right? Because TED Talks are very time precise and there's a lot of pressure. But other than that, just be yourself.
I think that so I do a lot of speaking.
Yeah,
I like and yeah, I what you just said, I agree with 100%. For me, when it started to, I'm not going to say get easier, when I think I got better and when I was able, I thought, to have a greater impact on others, is when I I probably stopped worrying so much about the what if it doesn't, and like you got more focused on, well, why am I doing this? I'm gonna misspeak, you're gonna make mistakes, sometimes you're gonna say the wrong word. That doesn't mean that it's failing, that means that you're human. But those little things don't define the bigger topic. So it's just like, what are we here for? Are we here to never have the blip, or to make the difference? And I think you can either focus on the trees, or you focus on the path through the trees, right?
yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, Sandy, I gonna be honest a little bit. I gonna be a little bit vulnerable with you here for a sec. Uh, One other driving force that I had for a long time is the alternative, right? What if that's my life now forever? Like, I don't want that. I want to improve. I want to have a better life. And if I don't do anything with it, it's always gonna be the same. And this, I gonna be honest, was also a very what if that motivated me. It was like I want something more. I want something better. And this has been helping me as well. I don't know if it aligns with the positivity message, but it's honest. I'm being
No, no, I I think it does. I think it's a big deal because that way of thinking, it's like like a T in the road. If I say it's like a T in the road,
mm,
it's like you get to the end of the road and you can only turn left or right. So it looks like a letter T.
yeah.
Like it's you can either turn left or you turn right. Like you can't stay here though, right? Like you can't stay here. So I think a lot of people are driven by what you said. I had a similar sort of thing that it was um I didn't know if I was ever running towards other stuff or away from something like I didn't
Mm,
want that, right? So my running away from that, or I always thought I was just chasing the next thing hard, hard, hard. But I think there's probably some degree of that for everybody that yeah, it's an either or, and that is not what I want. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I know that I'm all in going this way. I might fall down. I'll ask questions. I'll get help. It might not work out tomorrow, but that's that's grind.
yeah.
That's grit, right? That it's you're not going to win tomorrow, but when you eventually you're going to be able to add up all the todays and that gets you to where you want to be. But you have to have the win today. So, that's why today matters.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you still play hockey, Sandy? Or right now you just help other people. You don't have time for hockey anymore.
No, no, no. I still do I get dragged into it every now and then. But so I still do some lessons.
Okay.
There's some pro guys I work with in the summer. Um and play beer league, they call it beer league. So yeah, I mean I still skate quite a bit. I mean it was such a part of my life since I was, 4 years old. Um so yeah, I'm still on my skates a lot, but I spent my whole life in cold weather and now I'm older. And we live right on the beach down in Florida, so a lot of sun, a lot of ocean time, flip-flops. So most of my stuff now is not on ice, but I'm old, man. I'm an old man.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Man, that's a sport that fascinates me. I've been to Canada once and Toronto, and there's a big hockey stadium there over there. I don't
Oh
remember
yeah, yeah.
the name.
Hockey Hall of Fame's there. But
Oh,
yeah,
really?
they have a really big arena there, and yeah, hockey's huge in North America. It's huge. Where you are, in Europe, it's
Germany?
big.
Oh, Europe. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yep.
Is it? I'm sorry if I'm asking. I'm really fascinated. It's a little bit like football. The goal is just to score goals, right? I don't know.
So no, no, I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing at you. So hockey, I have always loved it. It's a very very fast sport. Lots and lots of action. Um, Unlike football, hockey, there are goalies and you're trying to score. Football, you're going against the other team. There's people that only play offense, people that only play defense. So hockey, it's you got guys on the ice who are, you know, sometimes they're offensive, sometimes they're defensive, but great sport. I think they're just amazing life lessons in hockey. Um, it's always been a huge part of my life. It's taken me, all over many continents, and yeah, I mean, it's what I do. I've been around the sport my whole life, so I love it. It's been amazing.
Yeah, yeah. I want to try one day. I was in Brazil once, and I mean, I grew up in there, and I saw this like there was a neighborhood where they used to just play hockey, but with roller blades. That's how it's
Oh
called
yeah,
on on
yep.
on. On like concrete, I was like, what are
It's
you guys
huge.
doing? No, it's fake. I was like, this is the fake version. What are you guys? Is it huge? Really?
Huge, especially in South America. Yeah, yeah. It's like even street hockey is becoming, it's great. It's a great introduction to the sport, because the challenge with hockey is that it's an expensive sport, right? Unlike
Oh,
football or like European football or soccer, or basketball, you just need a ball, right? Hockey, there's the equipment, the ice time, and it's expensive. So I love the fact that hockey has grown over the years into other elements, whether it be rollerblade hockey, which is massive. There's pro leagues. Lots of places in the United States, they're kind of starting from the ground up to get people into the sport where there are street hockey events. So it's just gloves, a stick, and a ball. Um, so it's really growing. But yes, South America has really grown pretty rapidly in hockey. It's crazy.
yeah, yeah. I didn't know that. That's very interesting. I also didn't know it was an expensive sport because you do need all the equipment. Yeah, all this. If you
Yeah,
want to play soccer, you just have the ball and that's it.
that's
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
For
yeah.
hockey, you're all in for hockey, and that doesn't even include, the expenses of the ice and everything. So it's I think we're doing a lot of stuff to make it more accessible to a lot of people, but that's always been the barrier to entry is that it's expensive.
Wow. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The ice, I cannot imagine. You need the ice. Like if you want to play on the ice rock, like you do need to play the rent of the place. Is that the case when you say the ice?
So, an ice rink, yeah, they rent ice by the hour, so if
Ah,
there's a whole
okay.
bunch of teams, right? So it's getting ice regularly is expensive. Some communities don't have a lot of rinks.
Hmm.
So they're building so many, in so many parts of the country, the United States, that weren't traditional hockey markets, I'm 50, so when I was growing up, um, hockey was big, but it was big in places like, the North, Northeast, Minnesota, Michigan, Wisconsin, you know, now where we are in Florida, I mean, Florida's huge in the South, um, Georgia, Florida, Texas, California. Um, so a lot of great stuff is happening.
Yeah. All right. So one of the things that you mentioned is there's a lot of life lessons. Are there life lessons that we have not covered yet?
Um, you know what? This is what I would say to that. Um, I think maybe there's two. I would say that I think the talent is overrated. It's my opinion.
Oh.
I think talent matters, skills matter, but I think talent can move like needles. I think mindset can move mountains. Your belief, right? You really can accomplish so much more when you're bought in. Um, but I would probably say that the biggest one is that everything has to fall into one of three buckets. Okay. You can either control it, you can impact it, or you can let it go. Control, impact, or let it go. The problem that all of us have, humans, is that we are always trying to control things that really always can't be controlled, right? Like outcomes. We have no control over outcomes. We can impact an outcome, but you really can't control it. Win, lose, So I think probably the biggest one is that when you focus on actions and behaviors, ironically, you will get the outcomes that you want, but because you focused on the actions and behaviors that it takes to achieve the outcome. So I always say to people, look, the things you can control, attitude, focus, emotion, effort. Outside of that, you're in that impact bucket, and then you just have to let stuff go. So I think one of the best lessons is what can be controlled, what can be impacted, and what do we just have to let go?
Man, that's amazing. It's crazy how so I have a lot of guests, right? One and a couple of them are psychologists, they work in the mental health industry, and it's crazy how there's so many things, ideas and principles that are shared across I don't want to say dimensions, but like we are all humans at the end of the day. And what you said is also
Sure.
something that they say in the mental health, like if you're obsessed or have going through a trauma or having interrelationship problems, you need to again they also say you need to focus on the things that you can control. You cannot control other people. You said outcome, right? When you said outcome, I imagined like the outcome of a hockey match, like
Yeah.
like you cannot control that. You can only control, as you mentioned, your action and behaviors. Like, and by doing that, I guess you just get rid of anxiety, because the anxiety, the way I see it, is you're trying to control things that are outside of your control. And
That are outside of your control. And
yeah.
I'll tell you one thing that will kind of prove it. So one of my biggest fears in life is the dentist. I hate the dentist.
Come on.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, when I was younger, I lost a tooth, and it was just like it was a bad thing, and it was the dentist was a little crazy. I probably should have gotten more Novocaine anyway. So
Oh.
even to this day, right? Like I don't like the dentist. So, I go to the dentist twice a year, and I make the appointment, 5, 6 months in advance, whatever it is. That I just made the appointment like 2 weeks ago. And the appointment is, I think it's in January.
Okay.
Like the old me, I would start thinking about it like in September. In October, I'd start to panic. November, like, you know, and I can't control what's gonna happen when I get there. So I got two choices. I'm either gonna sit here and enjoy July 18th,
Hmm.
or I'm gonna ruin July 18th for something that is gonna happen in 6 months that I can't control, right? So I don't say you just let everything go, but I do think that right now always has to be the most important moment. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, right? That's in relationships, that's in sports. Right now has to be number one. And how much time do I do it too. So much of our anxiety, our fear, our hesitation, whatever it is either thinking about something that's already happened or imagining something that you think is going to happen. In both cases, it has nothing to do with right now. There's nothing you can do about it, and it might not even happen. So it's like, now what? That's why it says this right here. I say this to athletes all the time. What now?
So
Well, but okay,
for
what do you want to do right now?
for those just listening and not watching on YouTube, he just pointed to a sign saying, "Now what?"
Yeah. So that's a great I say that even to myself a lot, that if something happens and it gets crazy, like if I think about the dentist or My dog was going berserk the other day, and it was like so embarrassing. She was like humping the neighbor's dog. It was just a whole mess, right? Sorry. But I was just like, you know, like now what? Like the most important thing right now is I got to get my dog back. It's like you can't go berserk about it. So I think that it's easier as you get older, but I think in any endeavor, those people that can stay focused on the here and now, that's the win. That's the win.
It's so hard though. Oh my
I
god,
know.
it's
I
so
know.
hard. Oh, my mind's always all over the place, man.
You know what? Mine is too. And I think that's a great quality probably that you have, and that's probably why you're sitting in that seat because you're a doer, you're an achiever. I think that's okay to dream and to think, the good what ifs, but I also think it's super important to remember that you are like where your feet are.
Hmm.
It's right here. Doesn't mean that you can't plan for later, but today really has nothing to do with yesterday. You could be a whole new person today. So yesterday's over, right? It's like, are we all in on right now, or are we still living in yesterday? So
I really like that phrase. Now what? It just grounds you. It's just now what? Like, yeah, we're
that's
back.
right.
We're back to the present. Now what? Now what do we do? Like, it removes all the distraction and grounds you back. I'm gonna try to use it from now on. It's really
There we
good.
go.
Yeah.
There we go. Yep. Love
Um,
it.
something that I was trying to do the other day in order to ground myself. I saw this guy on Instagram saying like, time is an illusion. There, there's no past. There's no present. Can you travel to the past? No, you cannot. Can you travel to the future? No, of course you can't. That means there's only now. I was like, whoa, yeah, of course there's only now. I cannot travel. I cannot time travel. And everything else is an illusion. And it's a little bit woo woo, but it also helped me a little bit. It helped me ground myself. It's like all that matters is now, right? I mean,
So here, yes, I agree with what you just said, and that's I think that's kind of a version, right, of what I tell people that all the
mm,
time. Um, but here is where I think in my world where I see it kind of go off course a little bit, and I think before I fully understood this, I was definitely guilty of it also. So awareness and focus are two different words. Okay.
mm,
Awareness and focus, right? You with me so far? You know the word awareness?
yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes a lot of people, I think, they confuse broad awareness with focus. Here's the example. Like if you look out the window, right? You're like, "Oh, look, there's a squirrel. There's a tree. I see that. There's a car. There's this." Like that's awareness, right? But I would say focus is like looking into a mirror. So awareness versus focus. And I think a big shift for people who are able to really kind of adopt right now, high performers or now what sort of people, they understand the difference between focus and awareness. They are not like looking out like that with the lens. They're they're dialing in.
So focus is more about looking inwards.
Yeah, it's narrow. Keep it narrow. The narrower you have the thoughts, the more you can lock onto them.
How would you do that? What do you recommend? Meditation, maybe?
I think for some folks, meditation is great. I think um, there's a number of exercises. What I would say though is probably the most important is stick with being purposeful and intentional. Do things on purpose. So let's just say in your world, you're like, Not that I want to have a great show today, but I want to ask leading questions. I'm going to ask leading questions. And because you ask leading questions, the end result is, oh, you have like an engaging show. But the way you got there was by focusing on the actions. So typically, the narrower you can keep your focus, one or two things, be all in, focus on the actions that it takes to get the outcomes that you want. That's typically how you can get super intentional,
Wow.
very deliberate.
Purposefully and intentionally. I love it.
Yep, purposeful and intentional. Yep.
Jordan Peterson once said, do everything. What was the quote again? One second. I'm horrible at this. So
Who did you say?
Jordan Peterson, this
Oh yeah,
Canadian,
yeah.
he said
Oh yeah, of course.
he said everything that you do matters. Everything that you do should matter. Like, and what he was trying to say, what I took from it is be purposely and intentionally. Like everything that you're doing has a meaning behind, and if you do everything in a non, how to say, like, I don't care about it. It's okay.
Yep.
That's good, and like that's good. You're never good enough. You're not even try to be good enough. Like this is gonna just echo.
He even goes a step further, and he really talks about making it matter, right? Not just
Mm,
that everything you do matters, but make it matter. And that's the case with performers, artists, athletes, people like you. Like, what there has to be an intention, right? Like
yeah.
there has to be like what is the focus going to be? What's the goal for today? Not maybe stuff that we want to work on, but maybe for you it's a lot of energy, um, good flowing conversation, and something else. I don't know. But if you were all in on those like couple of things, your brain is going to start to switch to verbs, like the actions you need to do those things. And you're going to be like super intentional. I would submit that the more you are intentional, that's how people get results.
We
Have
just
a purpose.
have a purpose. That's how you get results. But would you say that, and as Jordan Peterson said, try to make things what was it again? What how did you went a step further? He said, uh, create a purpose.
He
You
would
say
he says what you do matters, but you also have to make it matter.
make it matter. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, would you say that is that a limit for that? It's like because when I also think if you try to make everything matter, it can kind of feel overwhelming, right?
I think a good rule of thumb is younger people typically struggle with what I'm about to say. They think that quantity is more important than quality. So for a lot of them, in my world, I don't know if they need to train harder. I don't know if they need to be in the gym more. I don't know if they need to skate longer. I always start with asking them, maybe you just need to train better. I'm not saying if it's an hour, you have to turn into 2 hours. Maybe you could actually do it in 30 minutes, but is that 30 minutes the best that it can be? Make it matter. So I always say it's quality is number one, right? So
Yeah.
I think when you do things with quality, I think that certainly results, I think, is a big deal. I think happiness is a big deal. I think you can start building some momentum. I think you can start celebrating progress. So I think a lot of people confuse having to do more. More probably matters. But I always say before you do more, I would just make sure what you're doing now, maybe you could just do it better.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, that's beautiful.
right?
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Beautiful,
I
beautiful.
love it. Yeah, I think the Japanese are a little bit like that. Right? Never been to Japan.
Abs-
Yeah, but they
yeah,
they they I oh man, they have this religion, the Shintoism, and
yep,
everything that they do is like full of purpose and intentionality, and they're also
that's
focused,
right.
like the way they pour the tea, like they put the arm in front of the other, and the
Yep,
movements are slow and soft. It's like, bro, they put so
I love
much
that.
focus on that. Like, I
I
should,
love that.
but send it to a point. Like, isn't that too far? I don't know. I'm just an open question here. What do you think?
I I I don't know. I want to go to Japan also. I have great respect um for tradition, for culture, for details. There's lots of cultures and societies like that, but yeah, I would bet that um yeah, I think sometimes simplicity matters. What's too far, that's probably based on the individual. It's not how I would lead my
Mm.
life. We're all human. We all make mistakes, but um I think everybody has that point where they are what if we're really being honest, are we confusing doing things the best we can do with let's I'll just do it for 10 more minutes. That doesn't mean it's 10 more of the right minutes. It just means it's 10 more minutes, you know.
Oh man, I love it. I love
I don't
it.
know. I
I,
don't know.
and that's why my boss needs to listen to this podcast and allow me to take smartphone breaks every 40 minutes or 1 hour. I'm not
There we
joking.
go.
When I work from home, so sometimes I work from home, right? And I work like about an hour and a half, and then I go to my couch, I spend 10 minutes on Instagram, or I go downstairs, take the trash out. So I kind of have this reset outside of the computer, outside of the work environment. And then when I come back, I'm like sharp, focused. I'm back to action. I don't have the chance to do that at the office though,
Well, so
because
this is the perfect thing, and I'm not. There's a lot of layers to this, but I think one thing that a lot of people learned in COVID, because that happened,
mm,
everybody, that's a whole different thing, right? And all of a sudden it was, I'm not saying that people should not go into work or that there shouldn't be all, I'm not saying anything, I'm not getting involved in that. What I am saying though is that a lot of people were like, when they started working remotely, and they weren't driving to work, they probably turned an 8-hour day into a 3-hour day, but like their productivity wasn't any worse, and a lot of times it got better,
yes.
right?
Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So I'm not saying one way or the other, but just because they were at work before for 8 hours, that doesn't necessarily mean anything because they're able to do the whole thing. I read a study one time that someone was like, I basically could do everything I was doing at work in like an hour and a half. I was like, what job is that? But think about that though, right? That it's what if that hour and a half, what if that person worked like that for the entire week? Like, you know, that's like Elon Musk territory.
Oh man, yeah, yeah, that would be amazing. Like, we have flying cars and
Yeah.
world peace.
What I'll do though is I'll send an email to your boss. I'll try to get you more breaks. I'm gonna doctor's notice.
Oh, that would be wonderful. So I don't need to ask your opinion on home office. You're totally into for it.
Um, you know what? I'm into productivity, right? So much of
Okay.
my stuff is all over the place, right? I mean, I'm Zoom a lot. I'm in person. I'm doing whatever. I just want everybody to challenge themselves on the quality of what like I'm just very much in the mindset that if you're going to do something, like you're all in. Doesn't mean you have to be like psycho about it, but do it right. Discipline matters. Details matter. Um, there's certainly a balance, but I like when people are all in, committed, and um, pushing themselves outside of comfort zones. I don't like comfort zones.
Hmm. Hmm.
Me. That's just my take on it. The comfort zones have always made me very nervous. They're very safe. It's not for anybody or against anybody, but most of the achievers that I know at some point said, you know what? This next step is going to be scary, but I'm going to take the step and I'm going to
Hmm.
keep taking other steps. Just because it's scary doesn't mean that it's wrong. It just means that it's scary. You'll
Hmm.
live.
I once heard that being on the comfort zone is like being on a plane that is just going straight, and planes never go straight. If you they start going down over time. So if you think you're going straight, you're not. You're going down. You always need to have your plane moving upwards. That's what I heard. And
I like that.
yeah, I was like, oh gosh,
I
okay.
like dreamers. I like your story. Like I'm fascinated by your story. Do you mind if I ask how old you are? You don't have to give me the.
Uh,
You don't have to tell me
no,
if you
no
don't want to.
problem. I'm 31. I'm 31.
31.
Yeah.
So I love like the story that you just said. Like you're sitting there, you got a studio, you're doing this pod. I love people who accomplish. I bet if I asked you 10 years ago, 15 years ago, could you imagine that you would be doing this? Like you didn't even know, we didn't even know what that was.
Yeah.
But you took a chance, you had a vision, you chased it, you're making a difference. Like I get excited by people like that because I think that the greatest way I think that really we impact others is by, like you got to put yourself in the line of fire sometimes, and it's not always comfortable. Um, your example of the first presentation you gave, I remember the first big speech I gave when there was like 5,000 people or something, and my little remote control
Oh
thing
my
broke.
god, that's insane. Tell us. Okay, it's broke. What?
It broke.
I can't.
Yeah.
How was your mind at the time? You're racing all.
Bruno, I was like, I, I, I don't get I was nervous. I don't get nervous, but I was nervous then, not for like the people. I just don't know, but it was like I was sweating
Oh
and
my
the
god.
thing didn't work. And um, but you know what kind of brought me back is that I said, whatever is going to happen, there's nothing that's happened in my life. There's been a lot of bad stuff, but nothing that ever like, there's no proof that I couldn't make it work.
Hmm.
I fell down, but I got back up. Right? So it was like there was no evidence to support the fact that although this was new, that I couldn't find a way through. Would it be perfect? No. Are there a million other people that do it better than me? Of course, but I can only worry about me. You got to take that first step, I think. Um, and so much of the stuff that we kind of worry about, in hindsight, how much of us we look back and we say, you know what? It really wasn't a big deal,
Yeah. Yeah. Y-
right?
Yeah, for sure. And but the first step is always the hardest.
That's
I
right. That's
yeah,
right.
yeah. That's why you need to take it, guys. Go take your first
I love
step.
it. I love it. Yep.
Sandy, I have one more question for you. And what's your favorite country singer?
My favorite country singer?
Yeah, I need to
Yeah.
know.
It's old though. It's older. His name it's Waylon Jennings. I
Wailing
like old
Jim.
country. Hank Williams Jr., Waylon Jennings, like Willie Nelson.
Oh,
But if
Willie
I had to
Nelson.
say like if I had to say like new country,
Mm.
uh you know what? You were vulnerable with me earlier. I'm gonna be vulnerable with you. But you can't make fun of me. But I'm just gonna be honest and I'm okay with my manhood to say it. I really like Carrie Underwood.
Perry Underwood.
Carrie Underwood.
Terry Under. I'm. The name does
Carrie
not.
with a C. Carrie.
Oh, okay.
C.
I found it. I found it. Um, The name does not ring a bell, but I might know a song or two. I'm gonna look it up.
I think she was on American Idol ages
Really?
ago. But yeah, so I like older country, but yeah, I think I'm okay with saying that. Carrie Underwood, I like her.
Perfect. I found her.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give it a listen. Um,
there we go.
Perfect. Sandy, thank you so much. Do you have any final remarks, any links, anything that you'd like to
Yeah.
share?
So I will tell you something. So I just maybe 2 months ago, my second book came out, which I'm so proud of. The first book was it's called 99 Rules Every Athlete Needs to Know. 99 Rules Every Athlete Needs to Know. They're quick, like really powerful, kind of one hitters, lots of energy. You can highlight. The second book I wrote was 99 Rules Every Sports Parent Needs to Know. Super supportive. It's hard being a parent. These aren't how-to books. They're not like big academic books. They're mindset books. They're quick reads, lots of energy, good kind of bullet points. So both of those right now are available at my website, which is mentaledgehockey.com. They're not hockey books. That's just where they are right now. Mentaledgehockey.com. There's digital versions of it, but um, it's been great. Love kind of talking about it. Love having impact. So you don't have to be like the most competitive athlete in the world. I think they're great rules, good tips that are just really energizing. So mentaledgehockey.com.
All right. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, honestly. And congrats on your success. And I appreciate the opportunity to chat with you. It's super entertaining, buddy.
Thank you so much, Sandy. All right,
You're
everyone.
welcome.
Don't thank you, thank you. Don't forget to like and subscribe, everyone. Don't forget about the giveaway at the end of this month. See you next time. Bye bye. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. If it's your first time watching the show, make sure to like and subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please rank the show 5 stars. This will ensure that the podcast is recommended to even more people and allow me to keep doing what I love. Check out now the Brewcast store, Explore store, filled with awesome goodies from hoodies to t-shirts to mugs. We've got you covered. Stay in style with Brewcast. Embrace the shock, set the trend. Buy now at brew-cast.com/store. Again, that's brew-cast.com/store. Link on the description below. Be a Brewcast model and get free stuff. We'd love to see how you and your loved ones enjoy Brewcast. Snap a picture of yourself, your family, your friends, or even your pets wearing Brewcast merch, or watching an episode of the show and send it to us and become part of Brewcast. We'll feature you and your pictures at the end of every episode, just like the ones you're seeing on the screen right now. You can upload your pictures at brew-cast.com/contact or tag us on social media. Alright everyone, it has been a pleasure. Thank you so much and see you next time. Bye bye.